Hey friends, welcome back to my workbench. I've got I think a message that'll be beneficial for a lot of us right now, man. So I'd appreciate it if you'd go ahead and share this video. I tell you what, I was like many of you, the last few days have just really been stressful. They've just had my stomach all in knots. I've been anxious. I've had a lot of fear going on, a lot of anger, just disgust, everything you could imagine that is just negative, man. And so throughout a lot of prayer today, and then shutting my mouth and doing some meditation, this message came to me, man. And this message is about beliefs. Now, beliefs, we all have them, man. There are things that I believe, things that I hold true to the very core of my being, things that, man, I will stand up for, things that I live my life based on, things that, you just don't do, and some things that you do. These beliefs are just dear to my heart, and I know that you have yours as well. So I want to use a couple different examples here of what that is. I have a dear friend. He's kind of the polar opposite of me in a lot of ways, man. I love this cat very much, but he's a very successful man. He lives in a very rich part of town. He's just a great guy. But he has some beliefs that are exactly the opposite of mine. But underneath those, he values family. He values God. He values helping other people. And he loves his country. That's some of the core values that I have, right? So here's the thing, Mom. His beliefs that he has are dear to his heart. The beliefs that I have are dear to my heart. And some of them are different, and some of them collide. So how do we get past that? The first thing is to understand that just because I believe it's true, don't mean it's true. Just because I believe it's right, don't make it right. I'll give you an example. Years ago, I spent a lot of time in prison. And in prison, there's some do's and some don'ts. And when you get there and you start doing time, you figure it out real quick, right? And those things, they worked really well in prison. The beliefs that I adopted, the things that I stood up for, the mentality that I had from doing time, man. It worked really well in the joint. But when I got out on the streets, those things didn't work so well. And so things that I believe to be very, something that would just be a complete disrespectful thing didn't mean nothing to the average Joe out on the streets. And so I was on the streets and somebody bumped into me and they'd keep walking, right? And for me, coming from where I was, the belief that I had, that was just complete disrespect. And one thing you cannot do to me in the penitentiary is disrespect me. And so the next thing you know, man, I would be fist fighting. Well, guess what? Guess what happens when you fist fight out here on the streets? You go to jail, right? Yeah. So my beliefs did not work for me any longer. They were in collision with the life I was trying to live. Right? So I had to get some new beliefs. So the first thing that I had to do is I had to understand that just because I believed it to be true and right and all that stuff, it didn't mean it was. I had to do some serious looking inside myself at my core values. I had to come up with some things that were valued for all of us. There are core values that every human being was born with, right? That's where I had to start. Again, for me, that's family, God, work, country, etc., 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 right? And then I had to get rid of all these other ones that had just been added on to me over the years. Things that my dad thought was, what a real man is, and things that I'd learned in prison about what men are, and just on and on and on, man. And I had to sort through them. And really, to be able to do that, I had to invite God into the process, man. It's really hard to come to terms with your foundational beliefs without God. But when you invite God into the process, man, and you start to see how ridiculous some of the values and beliefs that you hold dear are, guess what? It does two things. It allows you to get a new set of beliefs, but more importantly, it helps you to understand your brother whose beliefs do not match up with your own. And so when me and my friend get together, man, even though we have some beliefs that just don't match, they would seemingly butt heads, I understand that maybe my beliefs are off and maybe his beliefs are off just a little bit, right? Perhaps his are off just like mine are off. When I understand that I'm the sick one, I'm the one that's possibly operating on some misinformation, or maybe the life that I had lived that had brought me to the beliefs that I have, maybe it had influenced me in a wrong way, then I can certainly forgive another human being, right? And I don't have to try to convince them that theirs are wrong, or try to change them, or even really pray for God to change them. None of that stuff. You know what I can do is I can accept them and their beliefs without judgment and love them anyway. Love them anyway. Without judgment, man. Because you know what? Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm the wrong one. I guess, friends, what I'm trying to say is right now there are so many of us that are on opposite ends of things. But underneath that, guess what? They love their families. They love God. They love their country. All the same core values, man. They're our brothers and sisters. I want to encourage you to stop judging, to stop posting on Facebook some old post that's just trying to, draw somebody in. I want to encourage you to try love, to try acceptance, to try peace. It's a better way of life. Anyway, friends, I love you guys. I'm excited about our future. I'm excited about everything that is going to happen if we can just love our neighbors. That's where it starts, man. Leave all that to all them. Why don't we just love our neighbors? Have a good night.